Just look at this for a tasty piece of rock. Today we are back at Fern's reef. We want to get some more ore and systematically sample this ore-bearing reef, gold-bearing reef. And I've already got 2 signals on the wall with the SDC, and we're going to try and get those out. We are, and you're going to try to refrain from eating any more poo. Yes, yes, good girl, yes. That's loud. So I think our main signal is in this chunk of rock here. I'm going to use the gentle persuader to bust that whole piece out. It'll be very interesting to see once I wash all this dirt that's coming out with it, if we get a result like we got last time. I got a nice specimen out of this area here. We're not sure if it's shed from this vein or if it's shed from one of the veins above us and just landed down there. So we're going to take some samples from in here. That's an aggressive noise. Okay, if it's like the piece of lead that was in the main one, that'll be annoying. Let's get the pinpointer in there. Okay, it's in that little pile, whatever it is. Huh. What? How is that in a wall? That was in a wall. What is that? What? Is that a button? I don't know what that is, but that should not be. However freaking, that's a good, what, 8 inches or more? I found that back there. That doesn't make any freaking sense. And I want to get this bit. Ooh.
This is spot.
Just look at this for a tasty piece of rock. That is looking good. This is the same sort of color and like mineral makeup that I found that specimen on last time. This here is gold bearing ore, and today we're going to crush it up and get the gold out of it. In order for me to crush this ore down to a particle size that will release the gold, I have to take my ore over to Mick's house and introduce it to his mate, Max. Now Max is electric powered, so we've set up like just the world's best tent here, and he chews through ore like you've no idea. You can just drop boulders in that thing.
Fishing right now.
It's so serious that Mick's even brought out safety glasses. Quartz is silica dioxide, and you don't want that stuff in your lungs, so good quality respiratory equipment is required. The way Max works is very simple. You open a safety flap and put the rock in. Close the safety flap, rock falls into the big smashing chamber. Inside that smashing chamber is a drive shaft that has a bunch of D-shackles connected to it, so it's basically a giant chainmill. The drive comes around these belts from this ridiculously oversized water pump engine that's powered by electricity, or as we call it, go juice. Everything spins in here, the rock gets absolutely obliterated, and that there is an output screen. Anything that doesn't fit through those holes gets flicked back up into the chamber and re-smashed.
Talk about this, guys.
So one pass, and that's what it got it down to. I would say that probably 50% of that will be pannable. We'll have to screen the rocks out at this size because the gold will still be trapped in those sort of rocks. However, look at that. Max is a legend. This is a piece of ore that's gone through the crusher once, and then we sort of had to stop it. This here is iron sulfides that haven't oxidized out yet. Over the next 24 hours or so, that'll literally turn white and then red and disappear.
So this way we just get everything that's on the inside of the crusher that's been splattered onto the walls. And then the fun part, panning or sluicing it out and seeing if we got any gold, which we should have. That's the ore we did first, and out of this bucket, I've just whacked it in a 1/4 inch classifier, and I want to get this down to the smallest size I can. Realistically, this stuff needs to be talcum powder, so we're going to have to recrush whatever is oversized. What I'm expecting to see is a lot of sulfides. So we are dealing primarily with a various mix of iron sulfides, and they can contain gold that you can't see. So we will be saving them for a future smelting video. This grey material up the back here is our sulfides and a mixture of steel off the crusher. I don't want to take it down any further because I want to save all those sulfides. Let's just see what kind of gold we got. It's always a little bit tricky panning around the camera, but we're going to do our best. Here we go. Plenty of steel from the crusher, plenty of sulfides, any free mill gold. Alright, we did actually get some free mill gold, and remember how I said the gold is extremely fine and we need to crush this up to powder? This is why. That's our gold. So this is the visible free mill gold. And now we're going to do the big bucket. This is where I'm expecting to see a lot more gold.
Oh, awkward.
I think we've got our first pan of material, so let's get this bad boy down. I am fully expecting to see a lot more gold in this lot. That's simply because the reef that it came from is more consistent than the last one. Even though I have reduced the pan by probably 75 to 80%, I actually want to get the rest of this dirt into it and do one big reveal at the end. Here it is, all that work down to this in the bottom of the pan. Panning down, it was quite heavy, so there's a good indication that there is a fair amount of mineralization within this ore, and that bodes well for gold. As I said, it's been pretty consistent at about 2.5 ounces per ton. I'm just going to pan it back. Now, reef gold, generally speaking, is extremely bright, just like that. Hang on, hang on. Look at that. So that right there is a nice piece of reef gold. Do we have any more? Does it have mates? Oh, it has mates, alright. Look at that. That's a nice size bit. Huh. What a chunk. Now, as I said, this ore is usually pretty damn consistent. That is a very thin, yet very nice chunk of gold. Look at that. And the way you can tell it's reef gold is, like, you can see how bright it is. It's very, very yellow. It hasn't been exposed to much sunlight or anything at all, and it's also extremely spiky. Hopefully that's showing up on the camera just how spiky this is. And this is everything we got for today's little ore crush. I cannot wait to put this stuff through the smelter, honestly. Once that gets through there, I reckon we're going to pull out a lot more gold. So obviously we got those chunks. and then a heap of that fine gold up the top there as well. I don't think there's much weight here, maybe a 0.15, a 0.2, something like that. Right before we wipe those gold nuggets, if you would like to see us go back there and do a 10 bucket run, all you have to do is get this video to 600 comments and 2,500 likes. I actually left this pan alone for a couple of weeks, and you can see exactly what I was talking about earlier in the film, where the sulfides have oxidized out into oxides. That is why we get this rust colored staining, and the water would have developed into a high level of sulfuric acid. So much so that some of the sulfides holding the nugget together actually came apart, and now we have two pieces. And for that reason, we're going to just weigh up the biggest pieces of gold and put the rest in the smelter for a future video. I'm still going to stick with my guess of around a 0.15. And I forgot this little bit. Okay, 0.228. 0.228 is worth $17.46 at the time of recording in Australian dollars. And whilst that's not a life-changing amount of gold, it does prove the point that one of those veins is carrying gold. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give your dog a scratch behind the ears for me. Peace, and I'm out.